Lowe's knows when you're looking for reliability, the right brand makes all the difference. And now, Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retailer for the Whirlpool water treatment line, including their Wi-Fi softener, under-sink filtration system, and more. With Whirlpool's proven performance and our everyday low prices, better tasting, better quality water is within reach. Shop pro-trusted brands like Whirlpool and more, in-store or online. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has continued to make phone calls with world leaders since President Donald Trump of the United States, U.S. announced that President Vladimir Putin of Russia will meet with him next week Friday in the U.S. state of Alaska, and stated while answering questions from the Whitehouse reporters that there will be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both Ukraine and Russia, specifically saying, "We will get some back, and we will get some switched. There will be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both," a statement that immediately and apparently drew the attention of the Ukrainian President, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, who have issued series of video and written press releases since President Donald Trump made the announcement, insisting that Ukraine will not cede any of its territory to Russia for the purpose of peace or to end the war, emphasizing that it was because President Putin occupied part of Ukraine territory in the past and assembled its troops Ukrainian borders without preventive punishment, made him to start full-scale war with Ukraine since 2022, adding that the path to peace for Ukraine must be determined together with Ukraine. This is fundamental. It is important that joint approaches and a shared vision work toward genuine peace, a consolidated position, ceasefire, end of occupation, end of war. According to Trump, the highly anticipated meeting between myself, as President of the United States of America, and President Vladimir Putin, of Russia, will take place next Friday, August 15, 2025, in the great state of Alaska. Further details to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Zelenskyy, in a series of press releases on Saturday, said, "I have not heard any partners express doubts about America's ability to ensure that the war ends. The President of the United States has the levers and the determination. Ukraine has supported all of President Trump's proposals, starting back in February. Ceasefire, all formats have been supported. What is needed now is not a pause in the killings, but a real, lasting peace. Not a ceasefire sometime in the future, in months, but immediately. President Trump told me so, and I fully support it. There must be a just end to the war, and it is Russia that must end the war it started. Ukraine and all partners share the same understanding of the need for a ceasefire, for an end to the killings. There is only one actor opposing this, Putin. His only card is the ability to kill, and he is trying to sell the cessation of killings at the highest possible price. It is important that this does not mislead anyone. Results are needed at the leaders' level. Dignified results, results that will save lives, that the world will value, and for which it will be grateful to the leader who delivers them. Everyone clearly sees Putin's tactics. He fears sanctions and is doing everything to bail on them. He wants to exchange a pause in the war, in the killings, for the legalization of the occupation of our land. He wants to get territorial spoils for the second time. Putin was allowed to take Crimea, and this led to the occupation in Donetsk and Luhansk regions. He received no preventive punishment when he amassed a contingent on our borders. This led to the full-scale war and the occupation of even more parts of Ukraine. Now Putin wants to be forgiven for seizing the south of our Kherson region, Zaporizhia, the entire territory of Luhansk and Donetsk regions, and Crimea. We will not allow this second attempt to partition Ukraine. Knowing Russia, where there is a second, there will be a third. That is why we stand firm, on clear Ukrainian positions. We must end the war with a dignified peace, based on a clear and reliable security architecture. Our partners are ready to help us with this. We have just had a report from our team in the UK, from Andriy Yermak. There were talks among the security representatives of the US and Europe, Ukraine, the US Vice President Vance, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, Poland. The meeting was constructive. The path to peace for Ukraine must be determined together with Ukraine. This is fundamental. It is important that joint approaches and a shared vision work toward genuine peace. A consolidated position, ceasefire, end of occupation, end of war. Ukraine is ready for real decisions that can bring peace. Any decisions that are against us, any decisions that are without Ukraine, are at the same time decisions against peace. They will not achieve anything. These are stillborn decisions. They are unworkable decisions, and we all need real and genuine peace. Peace that people will respect. President Trump announced preparations for his meeting with Putin in Alaska, very far away from this war, which is raging on our land, against our people, and which anyway can't be ended without us, without Ukraine. Putin did not believe in our people and therefore made the hopeless decision to try to take Ukraine. This was his main mistake, not taking Ukrainians into account. I believe in our people. Ukrainians are strong. Ukrainians defend what's theirs. Many in the world have sided with Ukraine during the war. Even those who are with Russia know that Russia is doing evil. Of course, we will not reward Russia for what it has perpetrated. The Ukrainian people deserve peace. But all partners must understand what a dignified peace is. This war must be brought to an end, and Russia must end it. Russia started it and is dragging it out, ignoring all deadlines, and that is the problem, not something else. The answer to the Ukrainian territorial question already is in the constitution of Ukraine. No one will deviate from this, and no one will be able to. Ukrainians will not gift their land to the occupier. We are ready to work together with President Trump, together with all our partners for real and, most importantly, lasting peace. A peace that will not collapse because of Moscow's desires. I thank all our people for being together. Ukraine is. I thank all our soldiers for preserving our independence. Stand firm, this is our land, we are Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. There is already a lot of support, and it comes in the new circumstances, with a deadline now set for Russia to cease fire. So far, we see that the Russians are ignoring it, at least for now. Today has once again brought killings and Russian shelling. Over 100 strike drones were launched overnight against Ukraine, followed during the day by air bomb strikes, intense assaults on the front line, and yet more air raid alerts in our cities and communities. No orders to stop have been given to the Russian army. We are speaking with our partners to ensure real steps are taken. We are in constant communication with the American side, and our partners, for their part, are also engaging with the United States. All are united in the understanding that there is a chance to achieve at least a ceasefire, and that everything depends on the right pressure on Russia. I had a good conversation with President of Finland Alexander Stubb. We are coordinating positions for the most productive joint work with America. It is important that America has the determination and the ability to end the war, and we welcome President Trump's desire to stop the killings. To respond to Russia's intention to prolong the war and seize territorial spoils, we must act wisely and in coordination. Thank you for your support, Alexander. Ukraine and Finland have the longest borders with Russia in Europe, and our people know very well what threats this brings. We agreed to continue working together for our common security. I spoke with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. I am grateful for the support. We share the same view on the need for a truly lasting peace for Ukraine and on the danger of Russia's plan to reduce everything to discussing the impossible. Clear steps are needed, as well as maximum coordination between us and our partners. We value the determination of the United Kingdom, the United States, and all our partners to end the war. We are actively working for constructive diplomacy and to ensure that the decisions can work. We agreed on further contacts. I spoke with Prime Minister of Spain Pedro Sanchez. I am grateful for Spain's support for Ukraine and our people. I informed about the diplomatic situation and our contacts with partners, and shared our vision of what the next steps should be. The main thing now is to ensure that Russia does not once again impose its unrealistic conditions on anyone. It is important that Pedro and I share the same view. Europe's voice must be taken into account. We are coordinating our common European position. We are ready to move as quickly and constructively as possible toward a just peace. We also discussed Ukraine's path toward European integration. Ukraine has fulfilled all its obligations and is fully ready to open the first negotiating cluster. We discussed possible options and will look for solutions. We agreed to stay in touch. Thank you. I spoke with President of France Emmanuel Macron. I am grateful for the support. We exchanged views on the diplomatic situation. Ukraine, France, and all our partners are ready to work as productively as possible for the sake of real peace. It is truly important that the Russians do not succeed in deceiving anyone again. We all need a genuine end to the war and reliable security foundations for Ukraine and other European nations. I spoke with the Prime Minister of Denmark, Mette Frederiksen. I am grateful for the support. We discussed the diplomatic situation and communication with partners, both ours and Mette's. These days, diplomatic activity is extremely high. However, we see no changes in Russia's position. The Russians still refuse to stop the killings, still invest in the war, and still push the idea of exchanging Ukrainian territory for Ukrainian territory, with consequences that guarantee nothing except more favorable positions for Russia to resume the war. All our steps must bring us closer to a real end to the war, not its reconfiguration. And our joint decisions with partners must serve our common security. We also discussed with Mette our work toward EU membership, and the progress on this path for both Ukraine and Moldova. We share the same view on the need for a fair approach and the fulfillment of commitments for Ukraine and Moldova together. Thank you.
Osas Welcome Radio, bringing you the news in a more digital way.